my shit.
Hey, GellyJones here, back with another video. Today's a brand new Animal Jam skit, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Oh good, we're finally at the inn. Yeah, it took us like 2 days to hike here. Well, the tourist packet did say that this was going to be a tough place to get to, but I'm glad we came. Wow, it's beautiful. Very rustic. Yeah, I agree. Oh, come on, you young kids. You know rustic is just a fancy word for old looking. What? Who said that? I'm over here. Hello, I'm the innkeeper. Oh, it's very nice to meet you. What's your name, Mr. Innkeeper? My name at the moment isn't important. What are your names? Well, my name's Jenny. And I'm Penny. It's nice to meet you. Jenny and Penny, like Jack and Jill. Well, I suppose that you two will do. What do you mean, do? Do for what? I mean, you're not exactly charismatic, but you should work just fine. Work fine for what? I have a story, and I need to pass it on before I pass away, which, I mean, look at me, should be pretty darn soon. Well, that's a bit morbid, but continue. Yes, anyways, I have a story, and I have not shared it with anyone yet. You two must be the ones to remember and pass on the story yourselves. Okay, yeah, we would, but we paid for a room, and I'm the innkeeper. I'll double your rent price if you don't listen to my story. Okay, looks like we're listening to a story, huh, Jenny? Yes, indeed, Penny. Okay, shut up. Here is the tale I have for you. This is the tale of the worst jammer in the world. Okay, well, I mean, he wasn't the worst jammer, but the worst stuff always happened to him for some reason. His life just kind of sucked. We begin on the worst jammer's first birthday. Just a little baby he was. His parents, hoping that he'd get prettier after he grew, realized that he would stay ugly for the rest of his life. So they put him up for adoption, which made the worst jammer very sad. And then the kitten he had been given for his first birthday died in his arms, which made the worst jammer even sadder. And then the orphanage burned down in a terrible fire, which made the worst jammer actually very happy because he hated the orphanage. Anyways, the worst jammer's new orphanage was run by a very kind old lady. Her name was Lacey. Lacey saw how sad the worst jammer had been for all of his life. And by now he was 7. 7 years of sadness is far too much. So Lacey, with her kind heart, decided to throw him a birthday party. Something he had never had. Lacey bought streamers, balloons, candy, and a big birthday cake. It was a surprise party, and that day after Worst Jammer came home from his schooling, Lacey jumped out behind the corner with his cake. Worst Jammer, being the worst jammer after all, naturally managed to mess it up. He jumped in fright, tripping Lacey, which caused the cake to go flying and land straight on top of Worst Jammer's face. When he got all the cake off, he saw that one of the candles had been fused to his head. And try as Lacey could, she couldn't get the darn thing off. So Worst Jammer was stuck with a candle on his head, and he quickly became the mockery of the town. But Worst Jammer was determined to do something with his ailment. He decided to start making fashion with feathers and beads, using the wax as a sort of glue from his candle. What a smart little Worst Jammer. He whistled away, very happy and very good at what he did for a short time. Until one time he fell butt first into a bunch of peacock feathers, not knowing that he had hot wax on his butt. The peacock feathers grabbed onto his butt fur and gave him a beautiful display of feathers that he most certainly did not want. Again, try as he may, poor Worst Jammer couldn't get those darn feathers off. The town called him a freak, and Worst Jammer just sat in his room and cried. This wasn't fair to him. He didn't deserve this. He had done nothing to deserve this ever. This was so unfair. So late one night, during a heavy rainstorm, Worst Jammer ran away. By now he was 20, so, it was okay. It wasn't weird or anything. Nobody came looking for him because, quite frankly, they didn't care. He was kind of weird and never talked to anybody. But that's beside the point. After Worst Jammer left the town, he walked. He walked and walked and walked and walked. His feet got craggy and gross from all the walking over sharp rocks and gross sand. And so much dust and dirt accumulated on his back that he started to grow spines of stone. And while Worst Jammer was wandering, he heard rumors of a wizard far up on the mountain. Worst Jammer thought the wizard could fix his problems, so off he went. When he arrived at the top of the mountain, Worst Jammer saw the wizard. "Wizard," he said, "I have been humiliated and tormented my whole life. Please grant me one wish." "I hear your request and grant it," the wizard said. "You may have one wish." "I wish to go to a time where I looked normal again," the Worst Jammer cried out, and the wizard smiled. Worst Jammer hadn't been very specific about his wish, which is a very stupid thing to do. So with a poof, the wizard turned Worst Jammer into an old man. His candle had been burned off of his head by now, and the feathers had just fallen off with the rest of his hair. "What have you done?" Worst Jammer cried. "I have fulfilled your wish," the wizard replied, and disappeared. The Worst Jammer sighed. He really was the Worst Jammer. The end. That's the end? That was a horrible story. Yeah, that's so sad. Yeah, well, not all good stories have happy endings, okay? Pff, whatever. Shush, you're gonna ruin the dramatic reveal. What's the dramatic reveal? I am the Worst Jammer. Oh my gosh, when did that wizard do this to you? Like 8 hours ago. I just wandered into this inn and sat down waiting for somebody to tell the story to. So it wasn't some epic dramatic story you've kept for thousands of years? Nope, it was just a little while ago. I'm not the innkeeper, but I took your money anyway. Toodles! God, that guy really is the worst freaking jammer. The end. Thank you guys so much for watching this Animal Jam skit. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you want to see more stuff like this, hey, why not subscribe? As always, jammers, stay safe and jam on. Jones out.